We are recording. So,
All right.
first coaching session, boys. How we feeling? How we feeling?
Pretty great.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little nervous.
A little nervous? You got performance anxiety, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh no.
GG. Oh god.
Bomba! Okay. So, I'm going to stream my screen. Alright?
Okay, hold on. Let me go back to pit.
Let me know if you can see that.
All right. Hang on. I'm going to the garage so I can watch.
Cool.
Me and him have been doing a few warm-up laps. Okay.
All right, big man.
Alright, so, let me just knock down my sensitivity a little bit. Okay. There we go. So, let's do week 1. Paul Ricard. Line.
Whoa.
Wow.
That looks amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Okay.
Really
Let's do it. Alright, so here you want to go flat out.
no
Okay.
way.
What? Alright,
Dude, I've
first
been
and
doing it around this whole
foremost,
time.
so when setting up a quality lap, I told this to Jacob yesterday, or I was mentioning it as well. This last corner is like, fundamentally, if you take a wider entry, you just have more time on throttle here. So this little bit right here, right? If you could take a wider line, it's obviously going to be better. However, in a live quality session, so when we're on like next Tuesday for both of us, for all of us really, because we're all odd division drivers, make sure that on exit you don't go too wide. If you go too wide, what it's going to say is that your min speed is too high for the lap to be valid. I think it's like if you by here are like 165 kph, it's too high. So it automatically
really?
invalidates your next lap. Yeah.
I did not know that it would do that. Okay.
So yeah, be careful about that. But take like, compromise your entry for when you're starting the lap to just go like this. Use all of the track, but like maybe in the open lobby this weekend, if they launch it, we can actually maybe in the orientation race today, since they're gonna run that, you can probably just try and see if this does anything. If it does, then you know not to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this applies to literally every track you're at. Always set up the quality lap before you start, because any extra kph counts, especially in a McLaren. So you have that very low end torque. You got to use all of that. All right. So setting up the lap, right? We got obviously this very vital braking zone to turn 1, right?
Yes.
So turn 1, I was showing Jacob. Let's say this is where the 100 is, right?
Yep.
And I will also pull up my lap after this. Let me just open the libraries and then go to videos, stream VODs. Okay. So I believe this is it, right? Yeah, cool. I'll have that open for later. So that looks like no. Let me undo that. 100. So around this point, there's like a very annoying curb like this, right? When you say this is the curb, the start of the curb, this ending of the curb right here, it bumps you like crazy. So if you start braking right before it, you won't bump and die with the traction control, because with the braking, if you start braking as soon as the bump happens, you'll kind of just spiral out of control because your tires are experiencing a lot of load at that point, especially the fronts, and they'll just like either sail you past or you'll probably lose the rear. So you want to start braking like a little bit before the 100, right?
Okay.
And the whole point is so that you can do a lot of the braking in a straight line, right? And then when there's a curbing here that starts, when you get to that curbing, you want to like start turning in. And this is very important. You want to use all of the limits that you have right here on this apex to basically spit out in the middle, not the right, not the left. If you go too far to the left, you risk kind of losing the load you have on the outside tires to propel yourself in turn 2, right? So let's take like a wide entry, start turning in here, and then here, is where you should get off the brakes and start getting on throttle. You can go 100% throttle because here in the McLaren you should be in third gear, right? Right here.
Yes. Yep.
Or if you're in second, you can short shift up to third when you go through this corner. But third gear I think generally is fine, especially in the McLaren because you're going to be carrying a little bit more speed than I do in the Lexus. So you can use all that mechanical grip you have from the aero and the load on the tires. So right here, third gear, cut the apex not too hard because then obviously you invalidate. And another really key part about turn 1, turn 2, stay in the middle. Don't go too far right, don't go too far left because you want to use the curb here as well to maximize your exit and use all the track limits that you have available on the outside right here as well. Okay? So the line generally will be get the braking done here, right? Start turning right about now, cut the apex, middle, and then sharp turn, not too sharp to spin the tires, but get your right tires on the curbing and then use all the track on the outside. And this is, again, third gear, okay?
Right.
Cool. Here, flat out, keep the track as short as possible. Don't like go too far offline. You want to hug the left side, okay? This one, you have a braking marker between 150. You want to brake in between, closer to the 80, right? And this one, it's more about carrying the mid-apex speed, right? Rather than getting braking done, cutting the corner, and then getting back on throttle and doing it. You want to just carry the speed, especially in a McLaren, right? So this is going to be use all the track on the left side. There are visible limits. There's a white line that your right tires cannot cross. So look for that. But downshift from, I think you'll probably be like in 5th gear by now, maybe 6th, but downshift to 3rd on entry here, right? And then coast a little bit, downshift to 2nd. Use all this curbing on the left because the whole point of this is to make this section as short as possible for the car so that you kind of get through it as quickly as possible. You don't really want to set up too much. So I see a lot of people, I see Riley, you go here wide a lot. It doesn't do anything. So you want to save time by staying towards the middle, braking, not locking the ABS, and then going to the apex here. Right?
Okay.
And you'll see a better example. Obviously, this is all interpretation, right? Visibly, it's going to be easier to see on the replay. So again, brake around the 80. Coast it in, be on the brakes a lot, use the brakes, trail it off. Here, I think the max pressure I reach, obviously like around 100, but I almost immediately get off of the 100 and I end up around maybe 20, 25. Whole idea of the, you have, let's say, the wheel and the brake pedal, right? Let's say there's a string right here attached to the bottom. When you're turning the wheel, you want to bring the brake pedal up, right?
Yeah.
So say we're turned about this way, 45 degrees, right? That means off the brake you want to be, let's say, like 50 to 75%. So this is 50% on brake, 75% off brake. And then this being, or let's say this being flat.
Okay.
So use the brakes, coast the car in, right? Get on this curb, and then really get on the bumps here so that you get into this section quicker, and then brake here earlier. Stay in the middle. Don't go too far left. It doesn't help.
Okay.
Use all the track on the left side. Not too much, as long as you get the pedal down, like as soon as you exit this apex right here. And this corner is really tricky, right?
Yeah.
This one, you want to be able to have the car under control, but also be on the limit. So this entire section right here, you probably don't brake at all. Touch the curb, maybe get on the curb on this corner a little bit, but full throttle approaching it, get off throttle for like a second, then back on throttle, right? The way it's going to look is you're taking this entry, get on curb, off throttle, back on throttle, right? Because this whole bit right here is flat. And you want to, let's do this again. Off the curb, throttle, throttle. Set up a little bit in the middle, then cut this curb right here, and then like this, right?
Yep.
So the line in here is super important. If you're too far to the left, you lose time being on throttle. If you're too far to the right here, you kind of just scrub the tires and the speed approaching this apex. So it's very key. It is very key to get this line correct. And also, don't spend time scrubbing the tires. If you need to, short shift. This is a second gear corner. On exit, it can be in third. So get on throttle, short shift to third, then carry it all the way down the straight.
Okay.
So let's keep that here. The track limits here only apply when you pass this certain point. You see on the track there are those little, like they're shaped like this, right? Striped a little bit.
Yeah, little signs.
Yeah. As long as you get within those before you get to them, it's okay. And it also applies when you actually, let's pretend. So forget this. This is the GT3 layout. So it's like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long straight, right? Get all the way down here. McLaren, you want to look for the 50 and 100. Brake about here. And don't brake too much because, again, I mean, you're going to be on a low wing setup and a low rake setup. I think I might have some good setups I want you to try if you haven't tried them already. But this is all about keeping the speed as high as possible because you have these same little track limit thingies over here where you can go as far wide as possible as you want. As long as you get within them before you reach them, it's still within track limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, blah, 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 straight, right? Tap on the brakes, downshift, throw the car in. Use the curb a little bit. There's a little marker here as well, this guy, right? You want to get close to it, but don't touch it too much. And you want to be back on throttle before you get to this apex. Okay? So, you're going to like spit out right around here. Like, you're off track, and get within the limits before you hit them. So let's say they're right here. And this is a very tricky part of the circuit. So the curb ends right around here, and there's a curb that starts here, right? Curb goes all the way around, kind of like this, and then here's the apex, okay? This one is very tricky to get right, but once you understand that it's really just one simple motion throughout the entire corner, it'll become silky smooth. It's very difficult to not be hesitant on the wheel and the inputs, but you really need to get the car just to coast in, keep a nice min speed, and keep a steering lock. Steering lock is the most important thing here. If you are too hesitant on the wheel or too kind of fickle to adjust the line, you're just going to lose a bunch of min speed, and your line into the corner isn't going to be as effective when you get to turn 10 apex. This is turn 10. Actually, this is turn 9. So, turn 9, 10, and so on and so on, right? So, we still here? Listening?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. As you get to this curb, stay on the right here, but start aiming towards this, right? This is going to be a long double apex, very long double apex. But, like I said, if you keep the steering lock in one position, the entire corner, maybe like very, very slight adjustments, but only turning to the right, you'll be fine. So get your braking done right around as this curb ends on the left side, and try to get close to this curb on the right, but you don't need to hit it. Okay?
Okay.
It'll be very easy to see on the lap what I'm talking about. So right here, we're just learning the lines, basically all the fundamentals, and then we'll apply them on the track. All right? Let's see what Matt said. Are you available tonight for a session? Yes, sir. All right. Since we're doing the session with you right now, Riley, we have one more before the end of this week, so we can adjust everything. I need to make a calendar, but yeah, just gotta manage. Yeah, brake at this curbing right here, and then approach this corner by getting close to this curb on the right, but don't hit it. You don't need to hit it. If you hit it, it's fine. It actually gets the car a little turned in nicer. But in the McLaren, it could possibly upset the load on the front right. So the line you want to take, let's pretend those lines aren't there. Let's change it to like, I don't know, red for France. Blue, white, and red. So like this, hit the curb, and then kind of just coast along the outside. The closest you want to get to the outside is like half a car length to this limit right here, right?
Okay.
You don't really want to dip your tires outside of the track because then you've gone too far deep. Okay? Or I guess too deep. But the whole point is that once you see this curb, right, you're a little bit more straight lined, throttle out. The car will turn. Okay? Because there's load on the front right and the rear right. And the left tires will just want to follow them, and it'll spit you out pretty much right on the limit here. So get on this apex right here and throttle, and you'll be on the left side, and you quickly have to get to the right before this next corner. This corner is probably, apart from turn 9, the hardest on the track, because there's no fundamentally easy way of going about it. There's no like, oh, okay, so I can double apex this, or I can late apex it, or early apex it. Some lines are faster than others, but there's one general line that you want to follow, or general rule of thumb. It's that you want to do it like a late apex. However, you never actually want to hit the apex until you're already throttling out of the corner. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It'll be easier to understand visually, like I said. I mean, this entire line is hard to really grasp on a picture. It's just about doing it. And once you do it, you will feel so much better about this track. Because the way that this is, there's so many weird lines you have to take. Paul Ricard isn't exactly a great track to learn driving on, like the basics of. You know what I mean? It's a really good track to experiment with lines and see, okay, I can do this faster because I'm doing X, or I can do Y. Okay? So the way you want to approach this one is obviously get to as far to the right as possible. Start turning in really early. So you want to brake while you're in the middle. Keep close to this curbing on the left, right here, but not too close, because the closest you want to be is when you're already throttling out right here. So you can brake late, and another key thing, brake in a straight line. Alright, so we're going to do a little acronym. In a straight line. Biasol.
That is
Biasol.
a great acronym.
So,
okay.
Biasol, right? Biasol. Important. Very important. You want to approach this corner braking a straight line. If you start turning while braking here, ABS will lock and you will miss the corner and you'll go wide. You'll lose a fuck ton of time. Exactly. If you want to turn the ABS up, I really don't suggest it in a McLaren. I think 2 ABS is perfect for this car, pretty much anywhere. I don't think it'll make you slower if you go ABS 3. I mean, it might. I think it actually will. Never mind. Scratch that. Don't listen to me there. But here, straight line braking, approach the apex. There's a green, or there's a red.
And a red. Green or red?
Red and green, like trailers over here in the distance. You can use those as references to when you're throttling out. But you want to apex here, and the corner opens up. There's a little thingies like this over here, right?
Yeah.
So go wide here, approach late, brake straight line, start turning the car in, apex right here. Okay. So it'll be done in practice, but you'll understand what I mean when watching the lap. You don't have to hug this curbing on the right, just keeping the right tires close will work. But as you approach right here, you want to use all of the track, especially because it's going to be similar to turn 10 in a way, where you want to late apex it, and then kind of just like go like this and like that, right? So let's go look at this again. Let's zoom in, right? So there's a little marker here as well, kind of like this one and this one, right? Where you want to get close to it, maybe like a quarter of a car length next to it with your left tires. But don't brake too much because you'll lose that min speed that we talked about so much, right? The line is very important here, and if you follow the line, you will keep your min speed up way higher than if you were just to hug this line the whole time. Okay? And I'll actually, my lap that I did is a great example of it because I did that and I could have gained an extra 1/10.5 maybe. And you guys will see it and understand it and feel it. Okay? So, let's see this, right? You want to get close to this curb, but don't brake too much because then you'll be a little bit here and there's like a little fucking like statue thingy right here. It looks like this. There's also tire marks here. So those are your references to when you should throttle out. Once you throttle out, because like there's load on the tires, like there is in turn 9 over here, you'll approach this corner to the left here. And then this one, it's very important. You're thinking, Anton, why would this corner be not like turn 4 and 5 where, you know, there are 5 and 6, where you can just shorten the line and you'll get out of it quicker. It's the same thing as in Watkins. If you remember, guys, turn 1, you really had to get the braking done and approach the line in a way that your exit will be better than your entry. So sacrifice a little bit of the entry. It'll actually help you get on throttle way earlier, right? If you take a deeper braking and then like this. And there's a curb here that you really don't want to touch because it just engages the TC and you'll just lose a little bit of time. And then use all the limits, throttle out, keep in a straight line, not like that, keep in a straight line all the way to the line, and that's your shortest distance around the track. And obviously you can keep going. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions so far?
No, not yet.
Okay. Do you want me to clarify anything in terms of like sector 3 or maybe turn 1, 2 in this section?
No, maybe when we watch the replay.
Okay.
But,
Sure.
right now I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Good. I like that. That is good. So, that being said, let's watch this. Okay. This is quick rundown of the conditions. This was done on fast towards the beginning half of the session. And obviously I was in Alexis. So let's watch it. Let me know if you can hear it, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
So first of all, right? Did you see how I didn't touch the curb?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back. If you touch the curb, you'll notice that the kph like bogs down a little bit. There's no bogging down. And there's no sliding, realistically. But here, at the start of the lap, I was just lapping because I was on a valid lap. I get to the left and then brake. But I'm not on the brake that much in the first place, right? Maximum on the brake
85.
is 80%. If you go full brake, you lose that minimum speed. Like here, slowest I'm going is 67. I've done laps where the slowest I'm going is like 50. That's because I'm too far to the left. And we'll notice at the end of the lap, or too far in the middle. Notice at the end of the lap, I'll have to slow down more to actually make the corner. But here, when you're setting up a qualifying lap, you can go as far wide as like to this curb, right? And once the blue starts, once you feel like, you know, the TC won't really engage, that's when you can go full throttle. Alright? Let's start the lap. I'll run through it 100% first, and then we can nitpick some things.
Okay.
Those are the markers I was talking about. Also, for future, I will increase the replay quality so the steering animation isn't so delayed. That way, it's just a little bit more accurate to look at. Alright,
Okay. Can we watch turn 1?
of course. So let's start nitpicking, guys. We'll try to spend 20 minutes on this because I want to watch you guys drive.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for about 40 minutes now. So 100, right?
Yep.
On the brakes before the bump, you can see the car like jump up a little bit. Every car will probably do that. Maybe not like Mustang or Mercedes or Nissan, just because they're fucking beasts. Brake in a straight line. As soon as the curb on the right kind of starts and your right tires are on it, start turning in. So let's go back. And notice the trailing off, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? Everything good so far?
Yeah.
Yes. Except for the fact that you're already on the gas right there, and I'm definitely not.
Well, I'm in a front engine, so I use the gas as a rotation method, right? As
Uh-huh.
opposed to the mid engine where you just are able to carry more speed fundamentally, right?
Okay.
So I'll do a lap in the McLaren as well, just so I can get a feel of like the min speed and also, you know, where possibly you could be in a different gear as opposed to me. I think Omar is using a second gear here, because you can just kind of use the engine braking as a way to get the car slowed down as well. But I
Yep.
like to stay in a higher gear. Especially in the McLaren, you have a lot of torque in the low end, so staying in higher gear is going to be of importance to you guys. So notice
Okay.
here how I get to the middle right here. I'm already turning it.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
not on the right. I'm not on the left. I'm in the middle. Very important to be in the middle here. Dip those tires on the right, not the whole car because then obviously you invalidate, or you can just beach the car and slide on exit. Sliding on exit is very, very tricky here because it's very common, and you either obviously invalidate or the tires kind of spin and you lose a lot of exit speed that way. So here, watch the lift. The lift was there just so that because I felt the tires starting to lose themselves. I don't want them to lose themselves because then I lose so much exit. So get out wide as possible, as far as you possibly can in turn 2. Around 80. Brake straight line. Notice how I'm not turning the wheel too much. I'm still 100% brakes. As soon as I start turning, I'm off the brakes, right?
So turning in like what, the 50?
Around, yeah. You want to aim for this little marker on the right. Obviously, don't hit it
Yeah.
because that invalidates. These yellow curbs are what indicates invalidation. But cut this curb here. Approach this one with a little bit of caution because the bumps can slow you down, but the McLaren is pretty nice last time I was watching it. But you want to kind of shorten the entry into this corner. Boom, 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 boom. And like that. Here, Riley, I was noticing you were going really far out left, like even more than I am here. Bless you.
Thank you.
You don't want to
Sorry.
go left. There's really no reason to. This is such a short corner here and a short exit that the main setup for the straight comes in the next corner, right? So I shortened the apex here by a lot, and notice how I'm already half throttle.
Yep.
Get on the throttle early because you have this track on the left, and because the wheel's turned with the TC, it'll engage for a moment, but because you're already going in a straight line, the tires won't really scrub too much. you can just throttle out. Here's very important. Aim for this, like the inside. You can get on it a little bit, but don't throttle too much on it. As soon as you start leaving it, the front tires exit the curb, throttle, go. Use all this track on the left. It might seem counterintuitive because the setup is all the way over here, but because we have that limit on the outside that we can use so much of, it really doesn't matter. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
No.
I'm in the middle. Use the curb. Get back on the track before those markers.
Yep.
And I'm full throttle throughout the entire sequence. Bum 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 bum. Long on straight.
Yeah, I'll be back. Just kidding. Long straight.
Okay. Important. Right here. I'm obviously reaching a higher speed than you guys, so I have to brake a little bit later or earlier. But you guys can think about getting on the brakes right about now. I had to get on the brakes earlier. Whole point is, McLaren, you can brake, like, very slightly, tap the brakes, downshift, use the arrow, glide in the car. I have to turn in because I'm in a front engine, so I have to just get the weight transferred. But you guys really want to be delicate with your inputs here to carry as much speed as possible. Alright?
Okay.
So, you can get close to this. If you do, make sure you don't invalidate, but you really don't need to. Just make sure you're on the throttle way before the apex. So see, I'm already on throttle here. It also helps the car keep like itself in shape, so it doesn't, the back end doesn't step out. And I'm off the track here, but because I'm still within this and I make it there, this is still valid, right?
Okay.
So that one will take a little bit of practice, not as much as the corner coming up, but just push yourself, see where the limit is with the car, with yourself. Try different things. Really, this track is all about experimenting with lines. If you feel comfortable doing a certain thing, that's fine. If you feel comfortable doing another thing that seems different to somebody else, that's also fine. As long as you keep the min speed up and you end up over here, it's okay. So I start turning in and aiming for this corner right around where this curb ends. I'm already full brakes. I have to brake earlier because my ABS locks up, and this car generally is not great on the brakes. So that'll be a car thing that you guys have to figure out. But the line is all the same. So full brakes, but I'm turning, right? Notice I'm only full brakes for a very short amount of time.
Is it going to carry the speed?
Yep. You don't want to brake too much. Don't be afraid to use the brakes, right? All the slowdown comes from either the engine braking or the fact that you're turning the wheel. Right? Turning the wheel obviously creates the friction with the tires on the road and the surface of the road. So you're already slowing down while turning, right? That's like the whole idea. If your brakes fail, if you don't have a handbrake, best way to slow down is to get those tires moving, create friction with the surface, and you'll slow down eventually because you lose inertia, right?
Mhm.
So, another thing, pay attention to my steering lock for this corner. Notice how I'm not going too much one way or too much the other way. I'm keeping it a constant about 45 to 60 degrees, right? Never really getting close to 90. I'm not really bro steering, just letting the car settle in, getting the car towards the apex, and then using the throttle to get the car to turn out of the apex. So let's see how early I am on throttle here. So throttle there was to get the car a little bit more this way. So let's say we use this as a reference. If your car is facing the orange barrier straight, you're in a good spot. Okay?
Okay.
Throttle out as soon as like the orange barrier disappears from the view and you start seeing these freaking stupid idiots in front of you. Throttle out. use this curb. Be careful to not invalidate on exit because the car can easily wash out. If your right side tires end up on this line right here, it's an invalidation. So get on the left, get on the right as quickly as possible, start turning in. Straight line braking, but I'm also not 100% on the brakes, right? Because I'm turning the wheel. I'm only 100% for a very short amount of time. And the braking, the slowing down that I'm getting from turning the wheel and, you know, applying a very small amount of input, that's the whole idea of the inverted string theory, right? If I'm turning the wheel a lot, this brake will be like this, you know? It's like I'm on it, but I'm not too on it. You know what I mean? There's a clip in the SRA chat, I think it was in multi-class, that I mean, let me see if I can find it, because it's a decent example of why you don't want to be, you know, turning the wheel while going 100% brake. It's right here. So he's 100% brake turning the wheel, and go figure, he misses the corner, right? So you really, really don't want to do that. Otherwise, you'll just end up doing whatever DJ did here. So don't do that. But
Okay.
if we're going to go back one more time, I'll play it. So when this curb starts on the left, brake. And then you see this apex. I see the green house up here. I'm on throttle already. I'm not even at the apex yet, right? And I'm already on throttle. It's a very, 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 very late apex. And it's going to be really tough to get right. But once you do get it right, it just becomes automatic. It'll feel very nice. It'll feel very smooth. And it'll just click for you. Okay? So we get there. A little bit of sliding on exit, but that's because I was on full throttle pretty early while turning. So just be careful with that. The McLaren traction control seems to be a little bit better and easier to manage than the Lexus TC. So just be aware of that. Anytime you spend in the TC being engaged is time lost. So if it means, you know, being off throttle for a little bit, but not sliding, that's okay. So we see the green and red houses or the trucks, right? We're already on throttle. Because this corner opens up a lot to this outside. The track limits are pretty unforgiving here. So if you manage to be like on this curb, it's fine. But any more, and it's GG. It's wraps. Bomba, you know? So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So you want to be here, but obviously keep the line short. Don't want to be too far on the curves because that also invalidates you. I think it's the right side tires on here get to this white line. It's invalid. But whole point here, I'm not even aiming towards the corner yet, right? I'm only slightly turned towards it and I'm still full throttle. So when this curb ends, I think about braking. Okay? And I'm approaching this corner in an attempt to get close to this little marker, right? But I'm not ever hitting it. I did a bit of sliding because I got off the brakes too quickly. If you see, I dumped the brakes. So that right there is going to cause problems. Don't be afraid to use the brakes, right? If you're off the brakes and you're coasting, just make sure you don't, you know, turn the wheel and be on the brakes too hard because then obviously the car slides. But the whole point of this corner, very, very late apex, just like turn 10 before. So get the car turned in, brake, but keep in mind that, you know, the less brake here, the better. You want to keep the min speed up, and especially while turning the wheel, being on the brake will help if you're not 100% on it.
Okay.
So pay attention to this white marker. I'm not really hitting it. I'm going a little bit wider, and then on throttle, as soon as I see this little thing, right? I'm on throttle.
Oh, okay.
So use that. As you go past it, there's these tire marks as well. So I'm on throttle a little bit early here, and you'll see I end up more towards the middle. You want to be here, on the left. Because look how early I have to brake.
Yeah.
I'm already on the brakes here, and I really don't want to be. And my min speed I was talking about earlier, I was down to 65 here. And the other one I was 67. But the whole point of it, right, is that I even got a better exit on the exit of the start of the lap. So let's see, as I pass the markers, I'm 111, right? Let's see back here. 116. See what I mean?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So you don't actually lose that much time. You actually gain time by going wider because you keep the min speed up and you get the exit speed much higher, and that difference climbs and climbs. So let's say when the line is approached, right? So right here, 204. Okay. I'm getting there, but I also lost all that time on the initial entry and exit of the corner, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I lost maybe, 5 kph and then 2 kph. I spent, slowing down a lot. So that's maybe a tenth and a half lost right there. This could have been a 52.5 for all I care, So you really want to set up the last corner. Last corner is a little bit easier to understand in terms of line than like the rest of Sector 3. But the idea is, in general, for Paul Ricard, Aiden mentioned it pretty nicely yesterday in a, a rather vulgar way. Fuck up one corner to get the other one right. Okay?
That's fair.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Like, the entry, the best one I can think about is this one. Like, it just looks so fucking wacky. It's like, I'm in the middle of the road for an eternity, and then all of a sudden, I'm doing 51s. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
It's gonna feel very weird at first and like unsettling, because Paul Ricard is not like most tracks. If you're in an F1 car, you can fucking like hug this left side and be fine. But because these cars really value exit speed instead of entry speed, you want to take these really unorthodox lines. And doing these lines will actually, in a way, teach you how you should properly overtake. So, Riley, I know you showed me a few clips of where you're doing like an over-under move, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you're racing somebody on the inside of this corner, and you leave them space, and they go wide, and you take the inside, and you do a switchback. That's what it's supposed to feel like, okay?
Okay.
I think I have a clip from when we did the endurance race here a few months ago. I actually had a very, very nice move in this exact corner in the wet that I did on a BMW. We were fighting for P2, I think. I'll see if I can find it on the side while you guys are doing laps. But yeah, the whole actually it might be on Twitch. Fuck up one line, one entry to get the exit to be better. Okay.
Okay.
I will save this photo. Week 1 PR line! Exclamation point! And I will drop it in the server that we're all in. Riley, did you get to join that server yet?
No.
Okay, I'll send you an invite.
You want to post like the recorded coaching sessions like in there too, just like a separate channel?
Yeah, I'll
like...
post it. I'll post it for specific people, just because like this is the sessions that we went over. At least this one I will post just because this is the separate line that we need to take. So I'll probably post like a breakdown of, learning the line around the track and watching a hot lap, because it can be universally applied to everybody. So maybe I can do some homework, give you guys some homework, and like watch a hot lap video that I make or someone else made, and then we can all just go over the line so that we're not wasting too much time and we have more time on track instead.
Yeah.
So, let me see if I can find. I'll just pull this up in the meantime. Oh, I guess it doesn't want to.
Through the race, so to everyone.
Whoops. Trey Morgan. Past broadcasts. Oh man. I don't think. Maybe it might be on YouTube. Let's see. SRA. We're up and away for SRA. How do you guys feel about the track thus far, though?
Feel comfortable, but I'm still missing like, a little bit of pace. So.
Yeah, Jacob, your times are pretty competitive for D3 because like I saw your sector splits. I mean, I know you saw them too, but if you really put together the last sector, you could probably be getting close to the 53s, which is ridiculous. So.
Yeah, because I'm only 3/10 down on Omar through the first two, and then.
I mean, that's a lot of time. Don't get me wrong. Just because like.
Yeah, because I mean
it's way less corners. And it's, yeah.
Yeah.
But. I think I found it. Hold on. Yeah, actually, it's actually at the timestamp as well that I needed to be at. Okay. I was so proud of this move, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was awesome. And there's some like big names racing here. So Ryan Yee, I overtook him. So I'm currently P3 here. Let me know if you can see it. So I'm here in the Aston.
Okay.
Backstretch. So I'm going side by side with Quinn Smith here, right? So he has the inside. You know, it's going to be a little bit compromised because he has to obviously get the car to cooperate on exit. So I can be on throttle earlier than he will be. I hope they show it, but so see, he's going wide. I'm already alongside him.
Yeah.
Because I'm on throttle earlier, I have more min speed than he does, and I'm able to just, you know, abuse that essentially.
Looks like we got another.
So side by side. Oh,
Hold
they
off
don't
on
care.
that as we
GG.
have this beautiful drive.
But see, I'm on the inside,
Oh,
right?
there
He's
you
on the
are.
outside.
Up here. Is that Anton and?
So he went a little bit wide. I think there's a track limit. But watch this.
Up there or no?
So I'm on the outside, right? He's on the inside. He has to take a little bit of a compromised line to get the car turned in and out of like on throttle.
Oh, that is Quinn Smith and Anton.
I'm taking the racing line almost. I'm on throttle way earlier than he is.
See if he can get him on the overlap on that.
Oh, yeah.
See how I'm already side by side?
Side
And
by
I actually have the
side.
pace on him.
Going
So even though I'm behind him right here,
Timothy Flamager.
I'm like almost a car length behind. But because I'm taking the racing line, which is so much faster around here than the non-racing line, like you're defending a corner essentially. But I can get on throttle way earlier and abuse that.
Overlap on that. Side by side.
It was a little scary here,
Going
but
into this
Yeah.
final part here.
like he dives up the inside. He really didn't want to lose the
Smith is
position.
just on the outside and gonna have to hold that inside. Oh,
So I'm on the outside here, but
you still got Russia.
I wasn't able to get him just because like I wasn't expecting him to dive down the inside like that. They show a really poor camera angle here. But going back to this, notice how the exit was pretty much in line with this guy's.
See if you can get him on the overlap on that.
What are we looking at right now? Doing coaching.
Yeah, we're doing private coaching right now, so
Okay.
that's about it. But yeah, now that's the end of that. I'm gonna stop the recording, but we can now move on to the track.
That's good.
Okay, that was annoying. All right, I'll post this on my YouTube.